doing this grand morning. We are live at our regular time. We got Wi-Fi. We doing solid good. I'm recovering from not feeling good. I had a bug and I'm fighting it, but here we are. This is Mystical Ariel here, and we are here to shake the matrix, expand our minds, and make us all think. Grand risings. Let's let you all gather this morning. Hopefully you guys have had some good time meditating. We've been up, we've been meditating, we've been getting together and getting our things all ready to talk to you guys about. So welcome back, family. We're glad you're here this morning. We're glad that you all come, and that we're glad we can meet with you. So we've spent the 2 days exposing the illusion and reclaiming our power. Dismantling the financial, medical, educational, and spiritual matrices. But the real question is this. Once we've torn down these false illusions, what do we build in its place? Well, today is about creation, and we're co-creators. And we're not just talking theory, we're talking blueprint. How do we design a reality that honors life, sovereignty, and truth? Well, I've had the experience of working along the government of Canada, and I've also worked out in Africa, and I've also done stuff out across the United States, and I've worked with gangs. I've worked with the most intense communities. To this day, I'm one of those people that can walk in the worst neighborhood and I'm protected, not attacked. Because this is what the thing is. I'm about the people, you know? And I learned a lot when it comes to the people. And then when we have the things that we need, and we're not doing the crimes that we try to do to create this chaos now, are we? If you got what you need, and you know you do, and you build a society that lets you know that you're not going to be without, well, crime is there to do that. You know, this is about us learning that how do we design a reality that honors life, sovereignty, and truth, and can it be done? This is about birthing a new earth, not someday in the clouds, but about us starting right here, right now. We just have to make decisions to say we're not doing life this way anymore. And we're going to do some changes. You could start in your own little community. You could start by getting some land or joining some other economic communities. Hello, good morning. Grand risings. But right here, right now, in our towns and our circles and our homes, we can begin to shake the matrix and make new changes right here. So let's start with a clear comparison. Let's talk about how we do it here and now and what we can be doing. Now we have this system where it's money system, everything centralized, extractive, debt-based. And we could create a system that we can create local currencies, skill sharing networks, and gift economies. You guys are out there, you got some land, you need to build some houses, and there's things you can't do. Well, there's skills you got that I'm sure your neighbor in your community needs. And you can say, yo, let's exchange. Time is money, is it not? Because that's what we got made and taught to be. Well, instead we go, time is value of the exchange of what I'm needing. And then there's education. It's standardized, top down, one size fits all, So then that's how we get all these labels of disabilities that we have found out that are gifts and abilities. But what we could do is we can form learning guides, apprenticeships, and schools that honor every child, unique geniuses that they are, going after where they are, where their gifts and what they're called to be, like we did in a tribal time. And then now let's look at our healthcare. Healthcare is disease management for profit. Yeah. New healthcare we can do healthcare can be preventions. Instead, we can teach people how to actually take care of themselves so that they don't get those sicknesses. Teach community-based and rooted in body literacy and natural healings, and teach vibrations and frequencies and resonance and how to eat properly, how to grow our own foods. You know? And then let's look at our spirituality. Spirituality is outsourced to authorities and institutions. Well, let's make something new. Spirituality that can be direct, embodied, and reclaimed through inner gnosis and personal practice. Let people be honored for their ways and their space of meeting with the divine. We're not stuck. Every one of these shifts is already happening in small places and small communities. Trust me, I've seen it. I travel across this country all the time, and I've been into these little communities, and I've even helped build them. And they function quite well. And they're all around the world. We're simply here to multiply them and making stances. Good morning. How is everyone? What am I? I am. There you go. I don't fit in identity. Are you kidding me? Not going by no labels. Think about your own life. Where do you feel trapped in the now system? And where do you long for something new? You know, let's look at nature and science and the blueprint. You know, nature is the greatest system to teach us. It really is. Because it just keeps flowing, We need to pay attention to a little bit more. Because when I was in nature, that's where I learned. I'm just sitting here going, wow, if we could just flow like this would make more sense. You know, she runs thriving networks without banks. The nature just flows like that. No governments, and it flows. Or CEOs. No one's running the wild. What if we started to copy her playbook? You know? You're from Spain. Well, welcome here from Spain. We're talking about going from our old way of thinking into the new way of thinking. So if you're new on this channel, I encourage you to go back and look at some of the other videos and see what it is we're teaching. We're teaching about shaking through the matrix. But welcome here from Spain. Glad you're here. So nature thrives on diversity, not, monoculture. In farming, that means polyculture and food forest. Instead of endless corn rows in society, it means diverse skills and communities and not standardized workers. So nature's already showing us how we can flow. Nature runs closed loops. Waste becomes resources. It uses everything. Imagine a circular economy where every product is designed to return to the soil or be reused. Like, wouldn't that be much better? Nature builds redundancy and resilience, and there isn't one pollinator. There are thousands of different pollinators. In communities, that means multiple food sources, you know? And for any of the questions that I'm not answering on here, sorry, but I am good. I'm doing well, and I generally get to the comments as soon as I can. I try to get the teachings out, which is more important right now, because this whole point is for us to shake the matrix and wake up. So we multiply energy system, multiply ways to educate. Nature scales with networks, not centralization. Think on mycelium, for instance. Mycelium is underground, fungal, that network that shares resources across entire forests. Can you imagine if we as people started doing that? And it shows that we would build an economic, decentralized, but connected at the same time. So you can have all these different communities going all over, but each community has something that would benefit the other, and therefore they bring in broadband and bring the unity and sharing those things. You see, nature responds through feedback loops. She senses and adapts. Communities can do the same. with open councils and feedback sessions and transparent, metric system. It is possible, you know, and they're not just fantasies. I've seen communities do this. They're design principles rooted in ecology and systems and science, and they work, surprisingly, which is beautiful. You know, let's talk about philosophers. I mean, philosophers have always asked, what is the good life, right? So ask that question. The Matrix told us it was consumption and status, but ancient wisdom traditions said otherwise. You know, Aristotle spoke of the automonia, the human flourishing, as living harmony with your purpose. Gnosis taught us that we are sparks of the divine consciousness, trapped in illusions, with the power to wake up and remember. So let's remember. And religion, when stripped of control, always pointed us back to stewardship, compassion, and direct connection with the divine. You see, Yeshua spoke of the kingdom within. And Buddha spoke of awakening from illusions. Indigenous wisdom reminds us the earth is sacred and life is relationship. So ask yourself, what if every system, money, medicine, and education was built on the ethics of stewardship and direct connection? And that's what we're building. We're trying to teach people how to rebuild. I mean, let's get real, guys. What does this look like on the ground if we were to reset the way we do existence? Instead of supermarkets, chains, imagine food, forests, and neighborhoods. And you just walk out. Mom says, go get some tomatoes. And you go get tomatoes right outside. You go get milk, and you go walk out. You go get yourself a jar of fresh milk. It came right from the cow. You can even start in your small houses. 5 households planting herbs and veggies, hosting monthly harvest dinners together. Get your neighbors, get 5 of you together. Guys, let's grow some different things. I'll grow all this, you guys grow this. We'll come together and we'll have meals. Create community. You know, every seed planted is a strike against this matrix. Do you understand that? Local exchange and time banks, trade hours of services instead of dollars. It shuts down the system. Babysitting for guitar lessons, healing sessions for carpentry help. It restores community and trust and breaks dependency on central banks. You could start micro schools in your community. Instead of standardized tests, kids learn through projects, apprenticeships, and mentorships. Adult co-learn with them. Education becomes lifelong and joy-driven. The family does it together. Do community health circles, monthly preventative clinics, breath work, circles, herbalist workshops. Imagine health as something we practice together, not something sold back to us at a markup. Repair hubs and energy co-ops. You could have tool libraries, solar panels shared across homes, repair cafes instead of landfills. You know, independent newsletters we put out in our community, podcasts and story nights that are just in our community. And the new culture spreads through stories, art, music, and tuned healing frequencies. I mean, come on, which of these kind of ideas excite you? Which could you begin in your own neighborhood? I'm sure you guys got something you can do in your own neighborhood. Well, I'll do. I used to go into neighborhoods and reset them all the time. My family and I never lived in a community without bringing change. Systems are not enough, you guys. We need culture. And we got to bring it back. That means ritual art and celebrations, daily rituals like silent connections or humming to reset frequencies, community rituals like full moon circles, seasonal feasts, story nights, where we share not just food but myths. Culture is the glue, guys, and without it, systems collapse. With it, they thrive for generations. And we get to make those things. We get to make those decisions. See, the new earth won't come from some, one big movement. It will spread like mycelium through small pilots linked together across the nations. Make playbooks, share your process, connect with others. Federated networks are harder to crush than centralized giants. You guys can do it. You can track it through soil health, meals grown, hours exchanged, trust built. Show the community, show what it does. We get to create this if we want to. Did you know that in 90 days that you can launch something tangible? In 1 week, week 1, you can gather 5 to 10 people, map your community assets, and choose one project. What's up, Michael? In week 2, you can assign roles, pick simple metrics, plan a launch and event. Week 3, run a pilot, even if it's tiny. In week 4, you can document, itinerate, and celebrate the progress. Day 90, host a community showcase and share your results and invite more to join. It's that easy. That's it. Trust me, I've changed entire communities. How's it going, Jessica? It's so simple, actionable, but powerful. That's how revolutions are built, and the start is by one section at a time. But now you've seen through the illusions of the financial medical education, and you've been in information and spiritual malpractices. You know what we must do to dismantle it. But here's the truth. Liberation is not just resistance. It's creation. Every garden planted, every circle formed, and every truth spoken, and every system reclaimed. These are cracks in the matrix. These are seeds of the new earth. And you don't need permission. You don't need to wait. And you are the builders. You just got to go do it. You are the blueprints. So everyone say this with me. You ready? I am sovereign, and I choose truth. I build life. I am living examples of the new earth. And this is how we win. This is how we live. This is how we build the world our children deserve. One step at a time. One community at a time. Now, how many of you are willing to go out and make a change in your community, guys? Starts right here. All right, Michael, what do you want to help out with, bro? All right, guys. Make sure you do one thing towards your dreams every single day. It brings you one step closer. Make sure you recognize you're valuable and you matter. You're all unique puzzle pieces, a part of the ultimate puzzle of the cosmos. Hang in there. Peace and love. We'll see you guys next time.